Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma, and today we're going to be going through some of the players to watch ahead of Game Week 2. We're going to be going through two defenders, two midfielders, and two forwards in this video. But before we get into it, if you're new around here or if you're a returning viewer and not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a like, and make sure you hit that bell. Don't miss any content going up on the channel. And as well in the description, you can find all the links to my socials, especially Instagram and TikTok, where I'm very, very active. And the leagues are still open until I think until the end of the international break. So if you're not yet joined, make sure you join up and compete with the community. And so without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So the first player we're going to be looking at is Daniel Ballard from Sunderland. Of course, had a very very good game week one. I think he's now the top scorer in the Fantasy Premier League so far with 17 points and at only 4.5 million and also with an ownership of 4.1%. The reason I've gone for him as one of the players to watch is because they're going to be playing against Burnley, and Burnley looked very poor defensively, and I expect with the not necessarily the attacking prowess of Sunderland, but I'd expect them to. They looked very good defensively, so I'd expect another clean sheet. That's why I've gone for him in there. And as you can see, a very strong performance against West Ham to pick up those 17 points. So of course, this is one of the players to watch out for in game week 2, and I hope it's going to have a very good performance. So now let's look at the next player. So the next player going to be looking at is Josh Achimpong from Chelsea. Currently at 4 million. He scored 9 points in game week 1 and with an ownership of only 1.5%. I think it's an outside shout, but I think it's a very decent shout because of the price of only 4 million, and the likes of Fofana and Colwill out injured. And I'm also sure when Fofana is going to be coming back, but of course, Colwill is out for around 7 to 8 months. So maybe it paves the way to Josh Achimpong, and it paves the way to have an easy Chelsea defender in there because they looked very strong defensively against Crystal Palace. And it's someone, of course, I'm going to be looking at that 4 million price range. And also, as you can see from the same reasons I've mentioned, price very cheap, is going to be starting for a very, very long time. And Chelsea are very strong defensively as well. So I think it's a good shout, decent shout. Of course, a very strong differential, but it all depends when Fofana is going to be coming back, and also Tosin has picked up an injury, so maybe he's going to be in the team for a very very long time. Of course, one to watch out for, not only for game week 2, but also for the whole season. And I think he's someone I'm looking to bring into my 70 million budget team because of the price range. So with Josh Achimpong also one to watch out for game week 2. Let's look at this next player. So the next player I'm going to be looking at is Semenyo from Bournemouth. Of course, they've made one or two very good signings during this week, and we are getting given the here we go from Fabrizio. So I think it's something to look at. I think it's going to create a lot more chances for Semenyo because he did look like a one-man army against Liverpool, managing to score 2 goals, picking up 15 points, scooping up all the bonus points as well. Although they did lose, I think he had a very strong performance. And at only 7.1 million, I think one of the first players to have a price rise, maybe before the next player we're going to talk about. But for now, Semenyo, 7.1 million. Ownership not that high as I'd have thought, but I think he's gone for that's why the price has happened. Now at 12% ownership. They're going to be playing Wolves next. I think Wolves are going to be in danger this season. They did look very poor defensively against Man City, but of course, Man City is not the same as Bournemouth. But with the attacking prowess of Semenyo and maybe someone like Evan Nilsson, I'd expect that Semenyo is going to have a good game against Wolves. I know it's going to be able to score. Definitely one to watch out for game week 2. Of course, he's around, I think, the second or the third most transferred in player. So I'm sure many people have him in their team. So expectation is going to be high. And of course, as for me, he's also very, it's going to be good to see what he's going to be doing in game week 2 so that you can think about transferring into our team. So that's the third player. Now so let's look at the fourth player. So you could have guessed who the fourth player is going to be. And of course, it's going to be Reinders from Manchester City. What a wonderful, wonderful game week one, and a wonderful Premier League debut, managing to get a goal and an assist. He was at the heart of every Man City attack for all four goals that Man City scored. He was in and about the build up to the goals, and I think he looked very, very good. That's why I've gone for him, and of course, he's very cheap at 5.6 million. Is another one, another case of the Morgan Rogers that the FPL have messed up because they thought he was going to be more over DM, but turns out he's more over box to box crusher CM type role. So that's why I've gone for him. I want to watch. Scored 10 points. Of course, now his ownership has shot up until 28%. But I think he's going to be playing really, really well. But of course, with Manchester City, there's always that doubt of the Pep roulette because they do have a lot of players. They have Ryan Shaky, still have Mamouche, they still have Foden to come back. So to fit all these players and to give all these players game time is going to prove, of course, it's going to prove a lot of change, a lot of rotation. But for now, all you can do is enjoy since the likes of Foden is not there. But Shaky did come on and did score, so maybe a little competition there. Of course, Rodri is yet to come back. But for now, as I said, let's just enjoy and hope that it's going to be continue to be playing. He's going to be a lock in the Man City team, like the way Haaland is. And yeah, hope that is for game week 2. Of course, hope he's going to continue that impressive form since now they play a tougher opposition in Tottenham. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to plan out. So that's the fourth player. Now let's look at the fifth player. So the fifth player is going to be Victor Gyökeres. Of course, a lot of slander names over there on Twitter, but we're going to keep it respectful over here at the channel with just Victor Gyökeres. I think he didn't have the best game week one, only scoring 1 point and that price of 9 million and at 24.9%. I think it's still one to watch, especially for game week two, because Arsenal are going to be playing at home. Maybe it's going to give him the fans are going to cheer him on because at the Old Trafford, the fans are booing him for every touch, for every wrong pass. Maybe the pressure goes to him a little bit. But now he's going to be at home. He's going to be at the Emirates. So the fans are going to be behind him. They're going to be playing Leeds. So what a better matchup. Of course, Leeds did look very good defensively against Everton, but Everton cannot be compared to the attacking power of Arsenal. So it's going to be a different game, but I expect Gyökeres to be able to hit the ground running in that fixture and expect him to score. Of course, one to watch for game week 2. Does not deliver in that Leeds fixture. I think it's questions are going to start being risen, but I'm sure he's going to be able to perform in that Leeds game at the Emirates. So that's the fifth player. Now let's look at the final player. So the final player we're going to be looking at is Chris Wood at 7.6 million, of course, with a price rise, managing to score a brace against Brentford during the weekend and two wonderfully taken goals at 17.7% ownership. That's the reason I think Chris Wood is just a bagsman. He's the main man for Nottingham Forest, and they're going to be signing more players just to feed him with Morgan Gibbs White staying in the team with Ndoye looking the way he looked very sharp as well. I think Ndoye is also someone to watch out for. But for now, let's just stick to Chris Wood. I think is going to continue performing. He's the bagsman, and I feel like he was forgotten a little bit during some people creating their drafts because people are looking at other 7.5 million like Joe Pedro who underperformed. So I think Chris Wood, even Solanke, who did not get quite the minutes, was so I think Chris Wood was a little bit forgotten during the preseason. So I think he's definitely one to watch for game week 2, and not only for game week 2, but for the rest of the season. He's just that good. So that's the final player for this video. I think Chris Wood is going to have a wonderful season, and I think all these players in this list are going to have a very wonderful game week 2 also. I hope for just such the viewers who are hate watching can be able to come back and able to see what's going on. So for that, if you've managed to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to join the leagues, and don't forget to check out my socials. All links are down in the description. And with that, I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.